always good to be with this group of men and ladies too. I recognize you as well. But I'll just start this thing with questions. I know there's a lot of questions, and I'd rather answer questions than talk. I guess you have to talk when you answer questions too as well, but that's okay too.
Chief, just wondering what your take is on the seniors. You've got to know here what they've meant to the defense, kind of what senior night means to you.
Well, it's always a special time, and a special time for the program, and but for these young men, it's truly a special time. It's the last time they'll get to go into this stadium and wear that logo on the side of their helmet and represent Arkansas. And no matter where you are, it's special. It's special, and we've got some seniors that have meant a lot to this program, and hopefully they're going to be ready to finish out the year and start. And it starts every day, but particularly this week. Again, it's a way to recognize them. Certainly, it's a way for them to feel appreciated. So that's what it's all about.
Hey, Chief, I know it's been 9 days now, but we haven't talked to you since the Vandy game. Can you just your rehash of that, and then what the last week has been like for your unit?
Well, in terms of rehashing the game, I mean, it's simple. We didn't play well enough to win, and you don't like saying those things, but you got to be honest, and that's what happened. Defensively, we didn't play well enough to win, and it's big plays, it's missed tackles, and when I make those comments, that gets right back down to the root of the whole deal, and that's coaching. And as I said, I'm not going to come in here and say, hey, if we had missed tackles, we'd have won the game. Well, that's my responsibility. So, I own that. But we didn't play well enough to win, and that's the bottom line. And we had some guys that played with a lot of effort, played hard, but playing hard's not always good enough. We got to play well enough to win, and that's my responsibility. In terms of last week, had an opportunity to do some recruiting. Can't talk about recruiting. But certainly had an opportunity to do that, and had an opportunity to, look at some, when I say look at, I mean we see them every day, but had an opportunity to work some young guys a little bit more, and that's good, when they're getting that work, and because they need those kind of snaps in practice, or some of the scrimmages that we had for them, and it's good to see them grow and see them compete.
Young guys, how's Andrew Parker? He's a kid we haven't heard much about. How's he coming along?
Well, he really this past week was the first full work, full speed work in a long time. He looks different. He's changed his body. He's been working in the weight room. He hasn't been just sitting around. The hamstring doesn't prevent you from lifting and doing those kind of things. But obviously he looks rusty as a football player. He hadn't been out there, but he got some work in, and that's what he needs. He needs every rep he can get. Early in fall practice, he showed some things. But again, it's going to be a work in process, and that's what he's got to do. And he's already, like I said, he's already changed his body from that standpoint, and that's been good. And, we'll just continue and watch his growth and push him to be the best that he can be. And personally, I think he's very talented.
Coach, some of the younger players who stood out to you in the scrimmage, I know you don't like to name guys specifically, but
well, I think both of the young safeties, and they're talented guys. I think Dee Walker. I think the scrimmage, the scrimmage was good for him, or this scrimmage time was good for him. And he's Dee Walker is very, very talented. It's a process in terms of learning. It's a process in terms of him getting to do the right things at the right time. And that's part of coaching too, and I got to help him do the right things at the right time. And obviously you can't do that when you're looking. You got to do it when you're practicing and playing. And but I was pleased with his ability to come out and work hard and take advantage of his time in the open week.
From LSU, and just especially coming off the rough game they had.
Well, I think obviously they're a very talented team. You talked about that, when you play in SEC teams. They got a quarterback that's gotten better and better. They got a couple running backs, and then they got, receivers, receivers that are 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", and got good speed on the outside. So, they're very, very capable football team, one of the, and no doubt at this point in time, I think it'd be easy to say one of the top 1, 2, or three teams in this league, and I think they've earned the right to have that conversation. And offensively, it's been they've held their end of the deal. Of course, they're playing with a great defense, and that helps too. But they're a really good football team. But offensively, there's talent all over the field. They're playing some younger players than they have in the past. A lot of times when you think of LSU and some of the top teams, you think it's going to be juniors and seniors, but they're playing some younger players. The quarterback that's a transfer is a younger guy. He's a sophomore, but they're very talented.
Chief, I was wondering what you did on Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't get back in till about 2:30. I was in bed by 3:35 Saturday morning.
During the off day.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay, sorry.
But I slept a little bit Saturday morning, even though I got up at 5:45. I'm up, and I slept for about an hour and a half or two. But at 5:45, I was up, and I was home by myself, so I walked around the house and I looked at things, and I made myself a pork chop sandwich that my wife had cooked and put it in the freezer. So all I had to do was put it in the microwave. And I had a pork chop sandwich at about 6:15, 6:30, and then I laid back down for a couple hours and said I wasn't going to look at any football, and I did. I kind of missed it a little bit, so I watched a whole lot of football, but didn't leave the house. Stayed there.
So as long as you're not burning anybody's red shirt, do you look at maybe giving the young guys a little bit more playing time these last three games, just because of because you're not bowl eligible and all that?
Well, that's always tempting, and certainly we may lean in that way, but we're going to do everything we can to win, and listen, I'm not afraid of talking about winning. It's win first, build second. We want to win now, and you've heard me say that in here. And, if it means playing two linebackers the entire game and that's the best way to win, then that's what we'll do. But certainly we got to keep developing this football team. There's no question about that. So you're tempted to lean that way a little bit, and we'll just kind of see how things go. But certainly, we're not going, and I promise you this, I couldn't look myself in the mirror if I said we're coming in here to build this program for next year. We're working every day to be our best, to go win. And if I don't feel that we got a chance to win, and I'm not totally committed to that, guys, it's time for somebody else. So we're going to go try to win. And if that means playing the young guys, if that gives us the best chance, then that's what we'll do.
You've been on the LSU side of it. Just how do they approach Arkansas compared to some other rivals that they have in the league?
Well, it's kind of hard. It's been a while ago, and 4 years ago, and obviously. Very, very good program, and I think when you play in this league, and certainly I'll go back to the 2011. I talked about that a little bit when I first got here season, when Arkansas was really, really good and in the mix, as good as anybody in the country. And it was that year particularly being there. It was big. It was big. It was a game that we, when I say we, when I was on the other side, we had to win to keep our hopes alive. So, and it's that way everywhere in the SEC, and certainly that's what we got to do. We got to get Arkansas back up to that standard where, where we're going to have an opportunity to compete for championships, and that's when rivalries, really come alive. And I'm not saying it's not a rivalry. That's not what I'm saying. But we got to get back up to the standard that Arkansas was in 2011, and then it'll be a whole lot easier to answer that question.
Just nameless, faceless opponent, stone cold, or is it a place where you spent a number of years and a team that you coached a lot?
Oh, I spent 6 years there and enjoyed it. Enjoyed the players that I coached there. But what they say, all things come to an end, whether they're good or bad, and it came to an end, and it's a situation where, to be quite honest with you, go back and give you just a little bit of history. I was not a guy that, ever thought I'd leave Tennessee after spending 21 years there. And then got an opportunity and all of a sudden found out it was better, And, Tennessee people may hear that and they may not like it very good, but that's, who cares, But my point is, you take advantage of the opportunities that you got. and I'm Arkansas through and through, and excited about what we can do, and excited about the direction that we're going. We got work to do, and we got to keep pushing the envelope, and make it, make Arkansas, number one, make it the best place to go to school, and that's important, and to play football in the SEC. That's what we got to do. And how do you do that? You do it by winning, and that's what we got to do.
Meant to you this season, and then when he's not on the field, what are you guys missing defensively that he brings when he's on the field?
Well, obviously, you know the talent, and that's easy for everybody to see. But he's also a leader for us, and he's been a calming effect for us. Because again, new system, a lot of players doing a lot of different things, but he and we got a couple of guys, but he's one of our leaders, and I'm not going to talk about what we miss when he's not there, because we got the next guy up and he's got to go do the job, and that's just the way we approach things. But as a young man, he's been fun to coach. There's no doubt about it, and we want to make these last 3 weeks a lot more fun than it was throughout the season. But we've had great times together. I hope that I've helped him. He certainly helped his football team, and I know he's an outstanding young man.
Chad said he went deer hunting, but he didn't put any bullets in his gun. So what do you think? Chad, Coach Morris, he went deer hunting this weekend, but he didn't put any bullets in his gun.
Well, there's two ways to look at that. Maybe he didn't want to shoot the gun. I don't know, but I didn't get a chance. To go. But that's good. But when I do go deer hunting, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna have some bullets in the gun. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Okay.
You know the pride that guys from South Louisiana have about who they are, the kind of football they play, and Dijon is a part of that.
Yeah.
Might this game mean more to Dijon? And what do you think of his season?
Well, he's had a great year, in my opinion. And I don't use the word great very often. Certainly, there were times that he could have been better, but he's had an outstanding year. And he's a competitor. And he through and through. And I'd like to think, but realistically, I'd say it means a little bit more. But realistically, you'd like to say, hey, because it's the next game on the schedule, that's why it's important, and you go about it that way. But I have no complaints at all. He prepares every day. He's he's a good athlete, so don't take this wrong. But he's a hard hat guy. He comes to work every day. Every day. He's never up, never down. He's right there. You know what you're getting from him, and I think he'll be the same way. I know he will be in preparation. I think he'll be the same way in the game. That's the way he plays. That's who he is. Thank you, guys.